Oh, actually, let me pull up the patch notes too. I forgot.
You can see my screen.
Yeah, I know, but I want to be able to like preview.
Oh, scroll down. All right.
Yeah.
So, guys, I've already looked at this. Aatrox is still probably going to be pretty strong. I think the E nerf is the biggest nerf out of all of these. Like, the ult nerf definitely is a thing, but, like, the cooldown on his ultimate wasn't what made it broken. The cooldown, or the ultimate, is what makes it broken. 20 extra seconds.
Hold on. You can add more hype to the intro than that. Let's get a hype intro, bro.
Boom, what up? It's Chewy, and I'm doing another patch rundown with my cat Chewy and my other cat Tyler, and we're going to be discussing patch 8.16, the patch,
the rise of the tanks,
the nerfs of the champions that should have been nerfed before, and tanks are going to be better because we want them back for some reason.
All right. That's enough of that. Go to Aatrox. Good intro, though.
Boom, what up? It's Aatrox. I'm actually a little bit weaker, but you're still going to hate laning against me because my Q does way too much damage, and they didn't nerf it again for some reason. But guess what? The E is weak enough early game so that you don't immediately die level 2 because you only get one charge of his E at level 2 instead of just getting 2 immediately. Like old Akali, you hit 6, you had 3 charges, but in the past it was like you started at 1. So this means when Aatrox hits 2, he's not going to just like dash at you, hit his first Q, Q again, and then EQ flash and one-shot you. But he's still going to beat you in lane. He's not going to like kill you at level 2 anymore, or he shouldn't, because you got to remember he's got one less charge. He shouldn't hit all 3 of his Qs. But you're still going to lose lane to him.
Probably kills bot lane Aatrox, I think, because a lot of that was the level 2 all in. Like right when you land in, right when you hit 2, you have the chance to all in.
Oh yeah. And jungle Aatrox is definitely like nuked by this.
He's dead. He's gone.
Jungle Aatrox was never like, oh, get a jungle Aatrox. It was just like, oh, I get Aatrox top on my team, and he's gonna beat everybody and never die and do too much damage. He's basically like a tank Riven. It was so stupid. Yeah. It was like
we talked before about this same issue of like. In pro play, like a champion's good, or like a champion that is good in solo queue is not necessarily good in pro because the junglers in pro are supposed to know like when you're going to power spike. So Aatrox was supposed to power spike at level 2, and now because of the changes to E, he might not. So like we might actually see a lot less of Aatrox just because of this small change. But if I had to guess, Riot's just going to keep throwing random changes at Aatrox for the next, 3 patches, and then eventually he'll be unplayable.
Yeah.
But
I think he's still going to be playable in this patch. I mean, dude, like, he is so overpowered on the current patch. Jeez. And the patch before that, he was so overpowered. But people just weren't playing him right. They didn't understand how to use his Q. They were, using his E to, dash into auto attack once, instead of, only using E to guarantee you hit 2 out of 3 of your Qs. And if it's your third Q, they are dead. So it was like, if they just let you get close enough to hit the first Q, you were just dead because he would dash after you, hit the second Q, and then he would just match your flash with his E flash and just come down with a 400 damage Q. You were just dead. Yeah. So once people figured that out, it was just like, oh wow, you actually can't beat him in lane. Like nobody beat him in lane. Pro players like Impact. I was in a solo queue game against Impact, and he literally said GG as soon as they first picked Aatrox. He said ban Aatrox, they picked it, he said GG. $1 million player gets paid $1 million on Team Liquid, and that dude says GG when Aatrox was picked. So you got to assume that there's probably more here that's problematic for Aatrox than just nerfing the E and the R. Chewy is chewing on my cords. Stop it, Chewy. He's hungry, but...
All right. And I know I saw a message in chat from Hammer. It's not 18% reduced healing. It is, but you're going from over 30% to 15%. Yeah. So when you're hitting minions, you're getting half of the heal next patch that you would this patch.
But I don't even think the heal is what made him OP.
It's not the biggest problem.
I felt like the heal was just overkill. You're just losing every trade because his passive is doing 10% of your maximum HP with one auto attack every 20 seconds, 26 seconds or whatever it is. He just walks up to you and takes 1/10 of your health with one auto attack. And then his Qs would just decimate you. So it's like, yeah, they're trying to create a defined weakness where he doesn't have like crazy sustain, but like until they nerf his like straight up damage, like he's still just going to be so easy to win lane with.
Yeah. And speaking of nerfing straight up damage, Fizz got nerfed pretty straight up in his damage.
It's really interesting because they literally just like reverted the buffs. It's a little bit better than it was before. Yo, Shadows 667, thanks for the 2 months, man. Welcome back. Thank you for the resub. So it's somewhere between last patch and the patch before, right? I don't remember the exact numbers, but I feel like...
So the only thing that matters is he's still good. It's like less bad to go tank Fizz now. The interesting thing about last patch was like the base damage increases were a big deal. Like a huge deal.
Oh, that's true. They didn't touch that. The W is massive.
Yeah. I don't think this makes that big a difference. I think he's going to be a little
weaker.
Yeah,
no, I mean, he's insane still. These number changes overall compared to like 2 patches ago, Fizz, like he's hitting so hard. I think his Guppy used to be a 0.6 AP ratio. Yeah, the Guppy was a 0.6. Yeah. Now it's a 0.8. It's like that's like a slap in the face, dude. That was a massive buff from 0.6 to 0.8 or 0.9. Now 0.8, it's like, okay, it's still... The whole point was like the Guppy should just not kill you. If Fizz is on top of you and he Guppies you, it's just like
this should be punished for,
the spread between this and this is like a joke. Like the medium range, this is what was hitting most often was the Chomper. The Gigalodon was like rarely hitting. This was like always hitting. But the Guppy is like that's minimum. You're on top of him. You can't even see the animation cast because he's like on top of you, and it's just too late. So I feel like they just need to nerf that hard.
This was just part of last patch's ability power buffs that got taken back, but the base damage buffs are still there. So Fizz is still better than he was last patch or like 2 patches ago, and it's not even close.
I'm still banning the shit out of him.
Let me just scroll down. Just scroll down to Hecarim and just read where Riot's like.
Hecarim is pretty weak.
Pretty weak. Yeah,
pretty weak.
Hecarim's pretty weak.
Pretty weak currently. But we want to be careful about how we buff him.
You got it. No, the pretty weak is the hilarious thing to me because I think at high elo he's not pretty weak.
Yeah, Metaphor has been winning a lot with Hecarim. I know there's a couple other Hecarim players that are playing him in Master Tier. He's just one of those picks where it's like there wasn't a big reason to play him over like Kha'Zix because he might be a little bit weaker than Kha'Zix. But when you do a buff like this and then you change stuff like Electrocute, guess what, baby? You didn't take Electrocute on Hecarim. You were going Predator. You were going Aftershock. You were going Phase Rush. And those aren't touched. So indirectly, Hecarim didn't even need buffs, probably. Just the nerfs to Electrocute meant that Predator Hecarim was just going to be better because his counterparts are not doing as much damage.
So people in chat are saying like, Hecarim's getting hit by Celerity and the Runes nerfs. It's like, every single person's getting hit by those. That's the intention of nerfing Runes.
It did affect him a little bit more than others, but let me just say that you didn't even need to take Celerity for Hecarim to be good right now. High base damage. No one was playing tanks. Predator damage is really freaking high. Trinity Force damage. You could go Stormrazor Hecarim. I saw people playing Stormrazor Hecarim, and I was like, God, you get Predator that fed, you just E them, and they die on your first auto attack because it's like you're proccing your Trinity Force. That's a guaranteed crit. So you would literally just Predator E auto attack one shot somebody. You didn't need Duskblade. You would just go Stormrazor.
Yeah. And, so I guess the thing is, a number of his runes are not getting hit. So I don't think that he needed this buff at all. So good champion. Orianna losing some magic resist. Who cares? I mean, it's gonna make her worse. But like, they do this thing with Ori. She gets too good. They nerf her by some stupid amount that probably doesn't matter. And then people stop playing her for a bit.
And then they remember, wait, Ori's pretty good. Yeah.
It's like Ori's a good generalist. Let's just start picking her again.
She gets a lot of magic resist for her ball. I think it's like 10.
It's like 10?
And it's a shield. And the way you play Orianna is she outranges most other champions, so you don't even take trades. But there are some matchups, let's say Ori versus Victor, where I want to shoot myself when I play that matchup as Orianna. That's going to be way harder for her. Orianna versus LeBlanc. Hate that matchup. It always comes down to it's very, very close between both of them. But, the other matchups where it's like Ori versus like Cassiopeia or some shit. Like Cassio should never reach you. You're just like, you're zoning Cassio with your balls. She's still going to be great. It's actually just so weird that they nerfed her magic resist and not like her mana cost or something like that. Like, I guess they just want to make her more vulnerable.
Yeah.
To like Fizz and stuff.
Click the link that Hammer linked for Hecarim, and then tell me that he needed to be buffed. Like, it's a video. It's very short. You pause it. It's already at the right time. Okay.
Yep, there it is.
No, just watch. Just watch.
He doesn't even have Storm Razor.
They're around him.
He's got Ghost Blade. He went Cinder Hulk.
Okay.
He's a freaking tank.
Yep.
Didn't they buff Hecarim's W a while back to give him like even more healing?
And somebody's gonna say like, yeah, but Hecarim's ahead. Okay, so
how many other champions literally are unkillable and run you down from any point on the map and one shot you?
Like the healing is there from his W, but I don't know.
Hecarim is a champion that I absolutely hate playing against when he gets fed. Because, like, okay, Rengar's dependent on his ultimate, right? Like, Rengar's usually, you can stand in the middle of a lane when Rengar doesn't have ult, you're not going to die. Kha'Zix, sure, probably a little bit stronger than Rengar when he gets a lead because he's got the jump range and stuff. Hecarim, when he gets a lead, is like, okay, he's got bruiser base stats, he's got high sustain damage, he has high burst damage when he gets a lead, he has massive mobility with the E, he has an R which can take him over walls to follow your flash, it's a CC effect, by the way his E is also a knockback, and then the W just gives him sustain based on the damage that he and his team are doing. So the more damage you're building, the more healing he's getting. So it's just like, the fact that he can do that so quickly and heal so quickly, it's just like, bruisers like him are more dangerous in my mind than even Kha'Zix. Because it's like, you get to a point where you have the same build as like Hecarim and Kha'Zix, and you're killing people more frequently on Hecarim. You just run through them. Like you just run through them, they die, and you keep going, and then you come back through. You're like an actual cavalry.
He's a very good champion, great kit, and I don't think he needed buffs. How much is 20 base damage at level 9 and 0.1 AP or bonus AD ratio actually going to do? I don't know, but I know that he didn't need it. So that's
right. I mean, I think he was. I think it's like other champions getting weaker already put him ahead. Sure, celerity gets nerfed a little bit, but he's still getting so much bonus attack damage from his passive. Like, do people forget like how his passive works?
Yeah,
like celerity is just like icing on this like massive attack damage cake that you get from Ghost, your E, Predator. Like
he takes Predator, and Predator's not getting nerfed. Like, that's something that people need to remember. Is like Electrocute's not getting nerfed.
Predator's getting better because Electrocute is weaker. Yeah,
exactly.
So you don't have to worry as much about like a early game Electrocute champion just one-shotting you when you're farming.
So let's go through Quinn real quick. She's losing AD. She needed to lose AD last patch. I think nobody's going to be upset that Quinn's losing this AD except for like Tyler 1, but Rakan. Is there anything actually we need to say about Quinn? I mean, I don't think so.
I think Quinn is still going to be really good, but they definitely needed to do this before. Like, it's hard to gauge exactly how this is going to impact her because the nerfs before definitely stopped you from like one-shotting people when you were behind. But like, Quinn is another oppressive champion where I feel like if you see her get first blood in the game, whether it's ADC or top, you're just kind of like, yeah, she's going to be out of control this game. Because that one kill means she buys a BF sword on her first base, which means a faster Storm Razor, which means, you could take like, what is this, like 4 attack damage off in the early game during like certain moments, and it's like, that's nothing compared to the fact that she's got a BF sword because she got first blood. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, they realistically should have probably nerfed like how her passive interaction works with crit, or I mean, like, if they're not going to nerf Storm Razor, then they probably should address like Quinn's ability to burst because she is going to build Storm Razor. So attack damage growth, this will lower her burst on her attack damage, her abilities, but most of the time she's overkilling you. So I think she's still going to be like a pick that I see and I'm going to consider to dodge if I know I have a top laner that's auto-filled against a Quinn. It's like, all right, that Quinn's just going to run us over this game,
And at a certain point, when they nerf her abilities and her attack damage and like all that enough, she'll eventually stop being played. But like, I don't think that's this patch.
It's the mobility. It's like the fact that she's got crowd control and an assassin's kit. How many assassins in the game have crowd control, guys? Quinn has 2 crowd control abilities. Two crowd control abilities that are unique. Her E ability can be used to go over walls. Her E ability displaces targets. It can proc Yasuo ult. It slows. The Q is a blind. It's so good. Like, she's so... Oh my god. She's so unbelievably good that it makes me, like, frustrated that she does the damage that she does. I was winning with Quinn's support, guys. I've to this day, I've won more than I've lost with Quinn's support. And I'm literally, like, not even having items. I'm just, like, blinding people. I'm, like, kicking people. And, yeah, her damage is pretty insane. But I'm, like, running around the map and, like, blinding somebody. And they're like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where to run. Are they flashing on me? You know, I would go to a Yasuo's lane, E on somebody. I had a Kai'Sa one game, and my E could proc Kai'Sa ultimate. So I just ran somebody down and E'd them, and Kai'Sa got on them. Like, if I'm winning with Quinn support... Clearly, the champion is strong. I mean, I might not be playing as much Quinn support after this, but that's how broken Quinn was. I was just, whatever, Quinn support, I'm going to win.
Yep. All right, Rakan, another support. So this is interesting because in the past, it's like they've nerfed his damage. They've nerfed his, like, healing. They don't know what to nerf about Rakan.
It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate ability.
Hey, you know... He does need his ultimate nerfed, but we were talking about this earlier. I like this nerf for Rakan. As you make him less tanky, he'll die quicker. So if you're playing with Rakan as like this, I'm going to double dash, flash, ult, and then W you, there's a chance you just die before your team gets there now. Like, if you're playing him as your follow-up engage, though, he's fine.
If he's a follow-up engage, it's like, if you can E back twice, you're never killing Rakan because of his ult. Yeah. Because the people he's traveling through get CC'd, so it's just like he like R flashes, W's you. As soon as he gets on you, you're charmed. He knocks you up, and then he's going back to somebody, charming everybody on the way. So, I mean, I think this will affect his laning phase, but his laning phase is so frustrating because of how good his W is level 1. I even in Challenger games, when I'm against Xayah Rakan, unless my ADC is sitting like a screen away from them, he's going to get first blooded. Like, Rakan just W's in, Xayah W's, and they just beat on him. Because if you think about it, Rakan's W is basically headbutt pulverize for Alistar. And so if you hit the W, he's traveling to the target, then he knocks up the target, dealing damage, and he's auto attacks. It's like, it's probably harder to hit Rakan W, but at level 1, you're moving slowly. You're not expecting them to all in kill you level 1, but it's still something I see happen like constantly. Maybe now there's a chance you can kill the Rakan and you at least trade 1 for 1, but man, it's still so frustrating to play against Xayah Rakan.
Yeah. Taliyah, I mean, they just keep nerfing her because they don't want to be played mid lane, and somehow she's still played mid lane. Something that's interesting is this is the exact opposite of a buff they gave a few patches back. The buff was intended to let you not put extra ranks in Seismic Shove, the W, so that you could max E. And by maxing E, you would have, like, by level 12, you'd have them on the same cooldown. So now you can't do that again.
This is a massive nerf to jungle Taliyah too, because you're fishing for those W's to get kills. So 4 extra seconds pretty much throughout the entire time you're jungling, because you want to still max W second. I guess now you have to max W second, and not E. So it changes up her damage patterns.
Yep.
I think she'll still be like playable, but like this is going to be a massive noticeable nerf. Like, if you use it to farm, you won't have it up for a gank right away. And if you use it for a gank, coming back around to kill them again is harder. Like, I've seen so many Taliyah jungles and Master Challenger. They gank you level 2, they burn your flash, and then they go back around the wall using her wall surf, and they're literally right back there waiting, and then they just go right back in as soon as their W's back off a cooldown. So I am glad. I hate Taliyah jungle. I think it's complete garbage to play against. She moves faster than anybody else. Her level 2 ganks are complete bullshit. They're like almost guaranteed kills if you don't flash it. So she just always gets your flash. And she does way too much damage.
Yep.
So kill this champion, please.
They're trying to. Like, if you think back, wasn't Taliyah's the world champion skin from last year, and she's being played enough that she could be the world champion skin again this year. Like, that's why they're trying to kill her, I think, is because if we keep going at the rate we're at now, she's still a reasonable champion. She's been a reasonable champion all year. They've been trying to make her not reasonable, but she's still getting picked in 2 roles. So they're just trying to kill her. I don't know if this is enough to do it.
Yeah, Chessmaster, I think they still were maxing E second on Taliyah in the jungle. I was just saying now you might have to max W just to get a lower cooldown shove. Exactly.
So, I don't know. I think that they're still going to be nerfing Taliyah even next patch, but this is a big nerf to Taliyah. So, Trundle, Chomp. We did the math earlier. I think it's like if you get something like 125 AD, maybe even like 100 AD. After you consider that you're
like
stealing...
total AD or bonus AD?
Yeah, like total AD.
Okay.
Like, no, bonus AD.
Oh, bonus?
If you get like 100...
You're not getting 100 bonus on Trundle. Unless you're Trundle top lane.
No, I mean including the stolen AD bonus.
Oh. That's not very much. I think it's like 30...
Yeah. So I think it's like Warrior plus 1 extra AD.
Oh, you're not building Warrior on Trundle.
Yeah, of course. Like, I'm saying in a hypothetical world, that's what you have to do to make up for this.
Yeah. So it is a pretty big nerf.
You're not going to do that, though. So it's a big nerf. Now, but like, what's funny to me is like this is the kind of change that they make, and then in like a year when they're thinking, wait, Trundle's not doing enough damage, let's just give him some base damage. That's gonna happen. Like I'm calling it now. In like a year, they're gonna add 40 base damage to the max rank, and that's just gonna be a buff. So we'll see that later. But as for now, it's a pretty big nerf. We talked about like what if you only put like 2 or 3 points in Q, and instead you go
Emax.
Emax.
Just a faster E upgraded. I mean, the early game is basically the same. Like, your rank 1 is the same, so your level 3 dueling is the exact same. So let me also just say this as a sidebar. Doublelift beat Grignay, or I guess Grig now, in the jungle when Doublelift was playing Trundle and Grig was playing Kindred. He smashed him. And part of the reason was because Trundle just walks up to Kindred and is like, "Sup, bitch. I'm going to take some of your AD and out-trade you on every auto attack, and I've got an auto attack reset, and I'm a tank." So I don't know how the game ended, but Doublelift was like 4-0, and he was memeing about like, is TSM looking for a new jungler, Kappa? Haha. So if Trundle is that good that Doublelift can basically be on the same playing field as Grig, this is a well-deserved nerf, and Trundle is still probably going to be pretty good. Like, because, you know, like the later points of the queue don't matter. It's just like you can't beat Trundle early game. You won't see as much Trundle, but he will be like picked in the LCS when you see like Mundos and stuff. Because Trundle is, you see a Mundo, you are Mundo die now. You take it. You don't pick Trundle for damage in pro play, and you're not like solo killing people. So this is like, you know, it's whatever. Solo queue, don't play him though. Solo queue, you don't play Trundle in solo queue anymore.
So we got a couple quick nerfs I think we can go through. Tryndamere, they're reverting the buff that they gave 2 patches ago.
Oh, you want me to give you a spoiler? He's still overpowered.
Still good.
He's still overpowered.
Wukong, they're taking back some of the damage they gave to him when they did.
Let me give you a spoiler. He's still overpowered.
He's still strong. Okay, Zoe, they're reducing her passive damage. They're reducing her passive scaling.
Let me give you a spoiler. She is still probably the best mid laner in the game.
Okay. Well, I think we learned a lot.
Did they affect the ability to get redemption at level 2? Did they put a cooldown on her W? No. Okay. She's still a problem. Tyler, her passive could have no ratio on it. She could not even have a passive. She could literally have her passive deleted from the game, and I would hate playing against Zoe more than any other mid champion besides Fizz. That's how stupid she is. Oh, she got a redemption level 2. Oh, she's running bot lane. Oh, she's using it for her laning phase. Oh, she picked up an ignite. Now she's got 2 ignites, so she's going to run up and double ignite me, and I'm going to die. It's like, what are they doing? Like, they're nerfing her in weight. Like, 2 damage off of her level 1 basic passive and 7 off of level 6. So these aren't why you're dying to Zoe. You're dying to Zoe because of some bullshit RNG or the fact that she just hits an E on you, which what do? Are you going to cleanse that first E that's going to chunk you to half HP so the next one just kills you? It's like, the design behind her needs to be chopped. Chop, 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 chopped. Nerf the W, give it a mana cost, put a cooldown on it, and I still would be annoyed to play against Zoe.
Yeah.
There's no cooldown on the W. There's no mana cost on the W. She can still get redemption in the early game. Ugh. That's Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, it's also pretty funny. Most champions, or like a number of champions that have a passive that goes up in strength, like their passives go stronger at level 1, level 3, level 7. Zoe's just like, it just gets stronger at every level.
Yeah, so it's not like there's this jump where
a
lot of champions have to wait until a turning point in their passive to get power up. It's when there's a constant power up, it's like there's always a power spike. It's not like, I got to wait for my level 7 passive power spike on this champion so that I can fight or some arbitrary thing like that. It's like, why? Yeah, exactly. Why does she have like the best scaling passive probably on any mage in the entire game? Yeah.
Okay. Tank update. Amumu mitigates more damage. I don't think anybody in the world was saying Amumu doesn't mitigate enough damage. I think they were saying it'd be nice if he does a little bit more early game. It'd be nice if his clear speed was better. It's a buff to Amumu support though, so you know, buddy.
Yeah, no, I bet the Trundle thing. The reason why I said don't pick it in solo queue is because a support style of solo queue jungling isn't effective right now, and in pro play it is though. So there's a difference. Like in solo queue as Trundle jungle, you're going to need to kill people. In pro play, you aren't chomping people in team fights. You're throwing a pillar up and you're R'ing somebody. Anyways.
Yep. So the Amumu change, I mean, there's not much to talk about.
If you're an Amumu player, this will help, but I actually don't think you were maxing Tantrum first. I think you were maxing Bandage Toss first.
So this is going to be a bigger deal because you're not maxing Tantrum. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, you can max. That's where I was sucking on Amumu. When I started playing Amumu support, I was like still trying to max Tantrum and stuff. And then I realized, like, wait, the people that play Amumu jungle don't even max Tantrum. They max Bandage Toss for the ganks. Because it's just really your W is your Bandage Toss to the camp, having another Bandage Toss to maybe finish the camp or go to another camp. It's like you just jungle faster with Bandage Toss. Yeah. So it's like, Tantrum is realistically his worst ability, to be honest. So this is only a buff to like, this is really only a buff to like a Tantrum Cinderhulk Amumu. Which sounds
he
like
doesn't.
trash.
No, it's not. The only thing that's changing is that he's getting an AP or like an armor and magic resist ratio. This is actually a buff to everybody. If you were already maxing E, this is a nerf, like relative to the other. Like the people that are benefiting most are people that were putting 1 point in Tantrum.
Wait, is this level based or
no? That's what you're reading right now. The 2, 4, 6, 8,
it's
10,
unchanged.
That's unchanged. So all that's being added is the bonus damage reduction, scaling per level.
Why is this even here? Why would they even list that?
I don't know why
That's
they
just
added
confusing.
Yeah, it's there's no point. But like, yeah. So Amumu got better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I mean, this is just a straight buff. Like, it's whatever. You're gonna have.
But there's like the point
it's negligible though.
What does it do?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Leona.
You've got aftershock up, so it's
Leona W cooldown goes down. I guess that's one way to make Leona get played again.
That doesn't fix the issues she has in lane and in solo queue where you're just going to get camped because she's really predictable. But in the situations where Leona is good in, she's really good in now. Like, really, really good in. Because you're maxing W first no matter what. So
it's kind of annoying that they didn't
just really good. The W is going to be up like constantly almost.
Yeah, if you have 40% CDR, it has 100% uptime. But like they were actually planning to change the W like beyond this on the PvE.
To make it worse?
And then like I think they were going to make it have less of an uptime as well. Maybe only be 2.5 seconds or something. But then they reverted that change, but still pushed through the cooldown change. So I don't know. Maybe this is cool. Maybe it's not.
All right, let's check out Nautilus. W base shield decreased slightly early, increased at later ranks. W max health scaling decreased at later ranks. W duration and cooldown increased. This still makes his laning phase better. Having more frequent shields means you can go in for trades more frequently and or resist their trades more frequently. So I like this a lot, actually. Even though this kind of like looks like a buff nerf type thing, like I think it ends up being more of a buff than a nerf because it helps his laning phase out so tremendously. Like the duration is shorter, but like the most important thing is just having it up for these trades. Because it's like, you know, what's the difference between like having your shield up and not having your shield up is like how you win lane on Nautilus. Oh, you've got your shield up, so you take no damage from that trade and you deal your damage. Okay, you back off.
They actually, I think the PBE also had a mana cost reduction on this, but it didn't go through to live. So it's pretty interesting that now he needs to use more shields in lane, but he has less mana to do it with.
Yeah, his like mana, he's got really bad base mana. Like his base mana is garbage.
That makes me think that this might actually not be very like super impactful as a change because you don't want to be like without the mana. It's just kind of
well. I mean, you definitely have to build a Glacial Shroud first. Like,
yeah,
first item, no matter what.
So I think it's a good change. If you have mana to work with, this is really good. But the Rammus change, you got more armor and MR. I mean, I think Rammus. I think his kit is fine. I don't think he needed buffs. I think that it's just like not the best meta necessarily for him.
I think it's coming into a good meta for him though.
Yeah, it could be though. It really could be.
Like right now, it might not seem like that, but next patch it could totally change because people might be playing. You know, they still might be trying to play Quinn. You know what I mean? Like weaker Quinn, stronger Rammus could be a little bit better.
Sion. Cool. I mean,
so what I really like about Sion right now is the best way to play him is damage. Like just bar none, like if you want to play Sion, you have to figure out like an effective damage build for him because tank Sion is like just not nearly as good as damage Sion right now. They buffed his AD ratios. His base damage is really good. Like there's a dude that's ranked 3 on the EU West ladder that just goes full damage Sion every game. Glacial augment, full damage. And so
this is a good buff got better. It's a good buff for people that are building full damage because just having more health like means that you might win a trade, like win an all-in that you otherwise wouldn't. And that's not as big of an impact towards tank Sion. Like you're not going to be trying to all in and trying to like 1v1 and Soul Furnace suddenly matters that it gave you 100 more health over the course of the game. So I like that full damage Sion likes this a little bit more. Interesting.
You could still go Titanic Hydra.
And Titanic Hydra is really good.
Yeah, that's another common one. Just rushing Titanic on him.
Tahm Kench nerfs. I mean, we're sitting at the 8th month of this year, and Tahm Kench has been picked every month since
He's just
release.
too versatile. Like he can win lane. He can stop you from winning lane. He can roam. He stops assassins. He has great kill setup with this, the previous 6-second duration devour. It's like, what do you?
Yep.
Was it half for champions? I don't even know.
No, it was half duration for enemy champions. So it was 3-second devour. So it's actually, I think it's still halved for enemies. So now you can only eat enemies for 2 seconds at any point in the game. But I don't think that matters that much. It's a good nerf. I like the nerf a lot. On PBE, they also had a change where the damage was up early game. I'm glad that didn't go through because
the cooldown is halved on enemy cast. He would just start eating people.
Yeah, he would.
He would make top lane Tahm Kench just unbeatable. That's probably why they didn't push it.
Burst runes. So they're basically nerfing.
He's not even a burst rune.
Hey, don't tell Riot that.
It's a poke rune.
Tom's been good all year, if you were asking. In next patch, he'll probably still be good, but just a little bit less. Airy nerf, I mean, okay. Electrocute nerf, I mean, I don't even know if there's that much to talk about specifically, except a lot of stuff got nerfed, but Predator wasn't one of them. So
Dark Harvest wasn't either.
Dark Harvest wasn't one of them, and that was 2 of the runes that I actually saw you taking.
Yeah.
On the junglers you were playing.
Dark Harvest Kha'Zix jungle in Challenger, hard carrying. It's the future. I'm telling you, after Electrocute nerfs, you're going to see Dark Harvest more. Dark Harvest Graves. Saw Tarzane playing that in like 1v9ing. It's like Dark Harvest is really underrated for junglers because you can build it up so much faster than laners because you're getting it from jungle camps and you can go into lanes to pick up cannons and you can get it from kills. It's just like you build it so quickly on junglers and it gives you a massive late game. So
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not that, and it works on turrets. Like I don't know why that's a thing, but Dark Harvest works on a turret. Like you can literally just like kill a champion and then take that turret faster because you picked up a Dark Harvest soul. And then a cannon comes, you kill the cannon, you get that Dark Harvest soul, and you hit the turret even harder.
Yeah.
Dark Harvest is great. Dark Harvest
is awesome. Predator's awesome. This doesn't nerf Aftershock. A lot of damage stuff didn't get nerfed, but the assassin damage.
I can't believe they're nerfing Cheap Shot. I mean, I didn't think it was taken much. I know it was good on some champions, but like it just seems so niche.
Yeah.
Compared to Sudden Impact, and then Sudden Impact's also getting nerfed, but like
everything's like all the damage stuff that you would expect on an assassin is getting nerfed, and that's the big deal. I think there are a couple interesting things to note about all this, besides the fact, like we already mentioned, a lot of good runes are not getting nerfed that are still burst oriented. But Electrocute is now basically Thunderlord's Decree, except better. You can go compare the two. It's just better. Let's see, what else?
Scorch nerfs and then heal buffs.
Yeah.
Yo, Matsky, thanks for 2 months, man. Welcome back.
Yeah, I think that's basically all there is in the... the heal nerf, or the heal buff. I mean...
Oh, yeah, does it say nerf? No, it's a heal buff. So heal is just going to be taken
buff.
mid lane again, and bot lane it's going to be taken again. Because you see nerf teleport. You already see heal taken a lot of the time now after the nerf teleport. And now we have a heal buff. Which, by the way, I believe this is the reverted heal nerf before they nerfed, or before they buffed Ignite. So I believe it was actually... I think it was 240 seconds before they nerfed it.
It was.
So
they just reversed it.
Yeah. It's reverted, guys. We went out of the Ignite meta and Burst meta. We're back in the heal meta. Which
with the Scorch nerf, will people just take Gathering Storm? I mean, I hate Gathering Storm, but yes, probably.
Water watching.
If you're playing Hecarim and you're going Dark Harvest and you have the option to take like Gathering Storm, like you're telling me you're not gonna do that?
Yo, Zarathu, thanks for the sub too, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, absolutely. I mean that's the build. You actually do Gathering Focus too.
Or
So you don't even go Celerity because you're literally going for a one shot with the highest amount of AD you can get. Hecarim might be a little bit different because Celerity works better on him than Kha'Zix. But Kha'Zix, it's Dark Harvest, Gathering Storms, Celerity. Chewy just bit my chin because he's hungry and he wants to let me know that. So yeah, you're just going for like the most like raw damage you can, so that as a jungler you win the early game anyways, and then you convert that into like, oh, I'm a 1v9 machine late game. Good luck beating me.
So let's do the quick notes. The end of the patch. With Burst getting nerfed, tanks will probably come back a little bit more. Also, people that could use Dark Harvest are going to be taking Dark Harvest more. Also, people that could use Predator are probably going to be taking Predator more. Comet didn't get nerfed.
Yep.
And I don't know how you could say that that's not okay, Riot.
Hey, you could dodge Comet.
So a lot of the champions that got hit, I don't think got hit enough to really shake them up in the meta. Like if you're still a Trundle, or not a Trundle, a Tryndamere, or you're still a Wukong main, or you're still a Zoe main, you're probably fine. I mean, just keep playing it. But I think the big change that this patch is gonna do is like there's less damage in the game, so CC matters more. Like keeping them in place for longer, so tanks are just gonna get better. So,
and assassins don't snowball the same way. It's like when you have sudden impact nerfed, scorch nerfed, electrocute nerfed, it probably means you're not going to kill somebody that takes heal in lane, even if you have ignite. You know?
Yeah.
Or they just take barrier, which barrier is still better against ignite users most of the time. So yeah, this patch kind of sucks for anyone that like to solo kill your lane opponent. So like, Unless you are a Dark Harvest jungler or you are a mid laner that takes Comet and Gathering Storm and stuff and didn't really like taking Scorch and all those other stuff. Bot lane mages actually got hit pretty hard by this because I believe running double Scorch and like double Airy or Comet was like pretty effective, especially the Scorches and Cheap Shot. You could both take Cheap Shot.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
There's actually really like the Heimer builds you could do. The Heimer Fiddle could go double Cheap Shot and double Comet and double Airy and
then, but the question becomes about laning
double
phase.
Scorch.
Like, were they really concerned about that 7 damage they're losing from Cheap Shot, or were they already like overkilling you, like the Heimer Fiddles of the world?
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to be at a point where maybe it does matter. Like, maybe it does prevent them from getting kills, but I don't know if that's right now, you know?
Malzahar is going to be fucking great this patch.
Oh, by the way, look, just a quick note: none of the AD carry stuff got nerfed. Like, no precision anything got nerfed. Not that I think it matters, but like,
I mean, I think it matters. I think it matters a lot because I think Stormrazor is broken. But I mean, the precision tree itself. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like Stormrazor.
I thought you meant the AD carry items.
Well, yeah, no AD carry items got nerfed, but also none of like. What did AD carries lose? They were usually going heal, like the healing masteries in the domination tree, so they probably didn't lose any damage. Some of them might have lost Scorch, like Varus might have lost Scorch.
Yeah, Varus was running Comet and Scorch, yeah. But most of their ADCs were going precision into Absolute Focus Gathering Storm.
Yeah, I think that the only people that might have gotten nerfed were like
the
Draven and Quinn. Yeah. Or like Jhin probably got a small. I don't even know if Jhin was taking.
Jhin is a mixed bag. He goes Halo Blades, so Halo Blades are fleet. So yeah, it did affect him.
I guess it's a pretty interesting.
Well, I guess he took.
Patch.
I guess he took the healing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
Like, I think
you just take the healing now for a lot of laners.
I think it's easy to ignore the fact that AD carries didn't got relatively better. Like, all of them should have gotten relatively better this patch. But I think that that's pretty important. Like, when you mentioned that Heimer and Fiddle got worse, well, you know, Ashe didn't get worse. And Ashe is not like the best champion in the game, but she's played quite a bit in pro play.
She struggled laning against Fiddleheimer for sure.
Exactly. Like, and if people were already picking Ashe in pro, like, because of her strengths later in the game, and now you can't take it as much of advantage early in the game, then I think that's a big deal, you know? I don't know. I think it's a decent patch. I'm not sure that it'll completely shake up the game, but I think that we'll be seeing more AD carries and more tanks. So if you liked that meta that comes around every single year at Worlds, you'll like it again this year.
Worlds time.
Worlds, baby!
Time to bring the tanks out and 80 carries. Sucks that we never have an Assassin Worlds, really. This would have been an interesting Assassin Worlds with like Buff Fizz and...
Maybe that one final where SKT had the Zed versus Zed matchup, like Riot saw that and they're like, oh, but that guy had like 0.2 seconds to respond. That's not really good for pro play. Let's not have that ever again.
That wasn't the greatest moment in League of Legends esports history or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I always love hearing about that moment because like if you watch the video, we should probably end let's end that here and then we'll go on sidebar conversations. Okay. Thanks for watching the patch video. Valkrin, any last words?
I think that this patch will be better than the last patch, but don't bank on the fact that the game is going to be, the same problems that suffered from last patch are going to be here. Did we see any Akali nerfs? No, Akali didn't get nerfed at all. That champion is really overpowered in high elo, especially in solo queue. I feel like they're still behind. They've always been behind on patching. They're basically patching for the mistakes they saw like 2 patches ago or a patch ago. They're like, oh, Orianna, we got to get on that. But it's like, damn, son, Akali needs some nerfs. I mean, like, in solo queue at least. I don't know how they're going to nerf her, but like, she's auto-banned right now. She's the Aatrox of this patch. When Aatrox came out, he's just perma-banned. Akali has to be perma-banned. So, yeah. That's it. Have a good patch, everybody.